Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Dugout podcast in the series where we preview every World Cup group, every World Cup team, and speak about all the stories and headlines and team lineups going in to the tournament. This time around in this episode, it will be Group F or the Group of F. Terrible pun. I think another difficult one to call, as we've spoke about for a lot of the groups in this tournament so far. And I think that was Alex showing his discontent for my pun there. Of course, I'm joined by my usual co-host, as always, Mr. Crookshanks, as we are going through all of the groups. If you want to go and check out the other ones, if you haven't seen them yet, then please do so. We're dropping these episodes daily. And I think we'll start with probably the favourites for the group, although we'll get on to our own opinions on them in the episode. We'll start with the seventh ranked side in world rankings. It is, of course, the Netherlands, and they absolutely sailed through qualifying with some really impressive results and really impressive stats along the way. I'll just get it up here. Yes, unbeaten in 8 games in their qualifying group, which contained Poland, Finland, Malta, and Lithuania. They scored 27 goals and conceded just 4, finishing 3 points above Poland. And as always, they look like they have a really strong squad and potential to go far in a tournament. But as we know for the Netherlands, sometimes it just doesn't play out like that.
Yeah, they're a side who are they're an early side a lot of the time. Obviously they um lost out to Argentina in 2022. Probably could have won that game. They went out in 2014 to, was it Argentina
Yep,
again in
it was Argentina on penalties again, I think.
was it? Wow.
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure in the
Yeah,
semi-finals that was.
yeah, obviously they lost in 2010 in the final, so they've been there or thereabouts. Um, they had that famous victory in 2014 where they battered the reigning champions Spain 5-1, I believe it was. Um, Robin van Persie and Ian Robin putting the sword. What a team they had! Wow, putting the sword to the Spaniards, getting a bit of revenge after 2010, but they've still got a very very good side, um, and I think it's interesting. There's different ways they could go. They've got some players who have been on tremendous form, some players who nearly got relegated in their respective divisions. So yeah, also a funny story. Not funny for Frimpong, but he was interviewed a couple of days before the squad announcement, asked about Memphis Depay, and he was saying, "Oh, I hope he comes with us. He brings a lot to the team." And Jeremy Frimpong was not selected for um, by Ronald Koeman for the squad. So although Frimpong has been really poor, and as when we get into my predicted lineup, I think the right back position might be one of the strongest positions the Netherlands have. So yeah, but they are on the early side, but I do expect them to make it a couple of stages into this tournament.
Yeah, and we spoke about their sort of battle with France. They came really, not France, sorry, Spain. They came really close to beating Spain in the Nations League sort of championships or whatever you want to call it back in last year, around a year ago. They drew 5 each with Spain in aggregate and lost out on penalties. And of course, Spain went on to lose in the final to Portugal as they won the Nations League for the second time since the end of their World Cup qualifying campaign. They've picked up, they've played 2 games. They beat Norway 2-1, and then they drew one each with Ecuador, who we just spoke about there in our previous episode, previewing their group. They actually have two friendlies still to play before the tournament starts against Algeria and Uzbekistan. So yeah, and it has been a sort of history of nearlies for this nation. Three World Cup finals, and probably you could make the case for them being the biggest footballing nation to never win the World Cup. Obviously, one European Championship win in 1988.
When you think about some of the players that they've had over the years as well, like Marco van Basten, three back to back to back Ballon d'Ors. I think there was, if he didn't have to retire early, there's people talking about he could be in the GOAT conversation. You know how good he actually was. You had the likes of Ruud Gullit as well. Obviously, Ronald Koeman, the gaffer, and his day was a fantastic player as well. So they've had some crazy teams. Johan Cruyff, obviously, I can't forget him.
Oh, you were
And
going to?
yeah, nearly did. Yeah, they've had some insane sides over the years, and it is mad to think that they've never won a World Cup. Unfortunately, I don't think this will be their season, their year either, for the World Cup. But I think they definitely have potential to stir up some trouble in this competition.
Yeah, well, do you want to? We'll obviously discuss their team and some of their players. Do you want to give us your lineup, and I can
Uh,
debate some of the positions with you, and maybe point out some of the
what
players across this squad that really can be the difference makers for them.
what we've got the exact same side we'd go for.
Well, no, I've not actually picked a side here to mine, but I can certainly debate some areas with you if you've got the wrong players in there, as you did
Oh,
with
okay.
some other teams we spoke about.
Okay, so in goals I've got Roofs for Sunderland. He's been
Okay,
really good. Why are you pulling a
I
face?
just don't think he's going to start.
It's probably going to be Flecking, but I want it to be Roofs. Uh,
I
um,
mean, it could be any of them. They all have a good case. They've all been really solid Premier League goalkeepers at points. Obviously, Mark Flecken now at Bayer Leverkusen. But yeah, I think they're all solid goalkeepers, and I would say there's no real standout there. Would you think it would be fair to say?
yeah, I'd definitely say that, which is why, because it was a toss up, I'd gone for Roofs because he's the one I like the most out of all of them. He's had a really good season, helped Sunderland to European football. He's been absolutely terrific for them. They'll be playing Europa League, and I think this could be his chance. Left back, I've gone for Nathan Ake. The two centre halves, I've gone for Virgil van Maguire and Mickey van der Ven. On the right hand side, I've gone Timber slash Dumfries. I think it's a toss up. It probably will be Denzel Dumfries, but I think either of them could play and be really good. This is where it starts to get interesting for me. So the Netherlands normally deploy like a 4-3-3. I've maybe altered it slightly. So rather than having it like a flat three, I've gone with two and then one sitting slightly in front. So I've gone for Ryan Gravenberch and Frankie de Jong. And then I've gone for Memphis Depay, sort of playing in a 10 role. Off the right hand side, I've gone for the Serie A MVP, who's only been there for half the season, Daniel Malin. Off the left, I've gone for Cody Gakpo, and up top, I've gone for Big Wout Weghorst to lead the line for the Netherlands. Obviously, he's not been that great in recent years, but he's one of the ones that Coleman really likes. And I think the fact that he's like our Lyndon Dykes, I guess you could say. The fact he's been selected for this squad probably means he will play. So that's the lineup I've gone for.
Yeah, there is certainly some interesting shouts in there, and yeah, I think there is with a quality squad like this, there is going to be a lot of debate in a lot of areas. Agreed with your central defenders. I think Van de Ven and Van Dijk really picked themselves. Same at left back, I would say with Nathan Ake. Right back, I think it will be Urian Timber, but I do think Denzel Dumfries will still have a place in the team. I think he just gets played at right wing because I just don't think you can drop him out of the team. I think he has to play. He's an excellent um, just footballer, excellent athlete as well, getting up and down that right hand side as we've seen for Inter Milan and the national team for a while, and looks to be signing for Real Madrid. That looks all but confirmed that they've bought him out of his contract at Inter Milan, so he'll be
Have the elections finished yet?
a Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
That guy Perez is up against was talking about how he's got like 8 world class signings lined up or something like that.
Yeah, well, that was actually how that was how they I think someone got elected in the past. They sort of made a cry that they were going to be able to sign some players, and then that's how they got it. And fair enough, if that's what you need to do to convince voters to go against Florentino Perez, then fair enough. But I'd imagine that Perez will end up still being the president of that club. In midfield, I agree with you. I think Frankie de Jong's got to play, an excellent footballer who maybe hasn't hit the heights of how talented a footballer he actually is, and maybe this could be the tournament where he really shows the world his top levels. Ryan Gravenberch, I agree, he could be the sort of legs next to Frankie de Jong, you could say. He has got very long legs, Gravenberch. It was absolutely excellent in Liverpool's Premier League title winning season. A little bit of a drop off in the campaign just gone by, as all of his teammates did. So, and then, oh, I think it's difficult to sort of disagree with your attacking players, apart from, of course, that I would have Dumfries on the right.
Who's your third midfielder?
Well, still the pie, wouldn't it be?
All right, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, oh, you just skipped past that.
No,
Um,
I just said that he would be. Well, he's not really a midfielder though. He's an attacker. He's like a second striker, really, behind in
yeah,
front of the
yeah.
two defensive minded, or well, defensive and sort of sitting midfielders. But yeah, I think the attacking options are certainly the weakest area of this team when you compare it against the midfield, and the defence arguably being the best at the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe Ronald Koeman goes for maybe a back five at some point to just try and get the sheer amount of quality in that defence into a back five. I've got to say, I've always had my doubts over Ronald Koeman as a manager. I think some of his decision making at times is a little bit strange. I think the Jeremy Frimpong, I can understand the decision to leave him out of the squad based off his performances at Liverpool this season. But I think does that maybe not for us, someone that was a big part of qualifying, is that a needless way to unsettle the squad a little bit and sort of pour a little bit of doubt into it. Maybe we'll see when the tournament comes around, because I think this will be a very competitive group and there'll be no pushovers in it for the Netherlands. Moving on to the second side in this group, another European side, and a lot different way to qualifying. We spoke about Netherlands' smooth journey through the qualifiers. Sweden had anything but that in the group
the
stages.
rockiest of journeys, the rockiest.
Yes, certainly. 38th ranked side in the world. They were in a qualifying Group B of the UEFA qualifying alongside Switzerland, Kosovo, and Slovenia, where they finished bottom of the group, picking up just 2 points, which was quite remarkable for a country of their footballing stature. Obviously missed out in the 2022 World Cup, but made it to the quarter-finals in the 2018 edition, which was their best finish in this format. Well, the previous format, since it being a group stage and sort of knockout format with around 32 sides. But of course, through whatever means, through Nations League, is what I mean by that. They had the opportunity to play two playoff games to get to the World Cup. They beat Ukraine 3-1 with a Victor Gyökeres hat-trick and then they beat Poland 3-2 with Gyökeres getting an 88th minute winner. And yes, I think they've they've won two matches to get to a World Cup effectively, which is well, not really because they done well in the Nations League, which is why they've got this opportunity. And now I think the feeling is for Graham Potter's side is can they capitalise on the fortune that they've been given. They played one friendly since those playoffs. They lost 3-1 to Sweden the other night. Alexander Isak, obviously, who's been struggling with injuries all season since his move to Liverpool, got their only goal. They've got another friendly against Greece, and the tomorrow night actually, as we're recording this before their opening match against Tunisia, and I just feel like for Sweden, I think that they're going to be the sort of villains of the tournament in the sense that a lot of people feel like they shouldn't be there because of how they've managed to get through to the tournament, and I feel like they'll perform really well when they get there and take advantage of making it to the tournament for the first time in 8 years.
Yeah, they've done well under Graham Potter. It's been some turnaround. Obviously, I think under the stewardship of their last manager, it's clear it was manager fault because their squad is a talented squad. You know, they've got some really good players in there, obviously. Some linked to Scottish football from the past, some currently playing in Scottish football. One, sorry, playing in Scottish football. All three players obviously played for or have played or is playing for Celtic. Sneak peek, I've got all three of them in my starting lineup. So yeah, I think they perhaps are going to be the villains, Ethan. That's a very good insight because yeah, a lot of people might think they don't deserve to be here, but I think they'll come out with a chip on their shoulder and show that they do deserve to be in the World Cup. And yeah, they're a good side. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much you can say about Sweden, about how good about how good they are. I mean, obviously, it's been miraculous turnaround after that dreadful qualifying campaign. But I did to sort of deploy in a 3-4-3, and after this is one of the other sides I've done a predicted lineup for. It's very interesting. So
Well,
yeah,
let's hear it.
so I've gone for Nordfeld in between the sticks, a back three of Gustav Lagerbielke, Carl Starfelt, and Isaac Heen, or Hein, however you say it. Sort of the wing backs, I've gone for Goodmanson on the left and Anthony Alanga on the right. The middle of the park, I've gone Svanberg and Lucas Bergvall. And the front three, I've gone Benjamin Nigren, Victor Gyökeres, and Alexander Isak.
Yeah, it's a very strong team with a lot of attacking power, and that'll be what they're sort of hoping for to carry them through. I think they've got some excellent talents across the squad, and it does make you wonder how they managed to only get 2 points in that qualifying group. Obviously, you spoke on the likes of Lager Bielka and Carl Starfelt, the former Celtic central defenders. For one of them, it probably worked quite well at Celtic before he left for Celta Vigo, and the other, before he's moved to Braga, didn't really work at all. But he's obviously shown his qualities in Portugal and got a massive goal in that last playoff game to help them to the tournament. They've got Lindelof, obviously former Man United defender, who's started getting regular minutes for Aston
I
Villa now.
forgot. I forgot about Victor Lindelof. Oh no,
uh,
might
um,
need to swap out Lagerbielke. Um,
um, the other players that you didn't maybe mention that I think deserve sort of a shout is Ken Sema at Paphos. He's had an absolutely incredible career across Watford and Udinese, and now playing in Cyprus with Paphos. Was in the Champions League this season. Another player, Abdi Ali, Taha Abdi Ali, who made. I remember him being a a massive talent out of Sweden, but it never really worked for him. I think he's only made one appearance for them in a friendly, and now he'll get the chance to be a part of the squad as well.
I think Svensson could be a good player as well of Wolfsburg, if I'm correct in saying. He's
Oh yeah,
quite
it's Svanberg,
fan. Who's there's a guy called
that
Svensson. I swear.
Daniel Svensson, the Borussia Dortmund fullback.
Oh, Dortmund. I'm getting Dortmund and Wolves. Sorry, Terry, German fans. Yeah, Svensson at Dortmund. Sorry, I always get them two confused for some reason. Svanberg and Svensson, but Svensson could be a good player in the side as well.
Yeah,
I think he is a fullback, but he is quite versatile. I mean, I feel like a lot of these Swedish guys are actually quite versatile in where they can play and what they can do. And I think that's going into an international tournament. We're coming up against different nations with different styles. It's going to be that could be important. But yeah, I think Sweden are well placed to progress out this group. If their attacking force can click, it can be deadly. Alexander Isak, Benjamin Nigren, Victor Gyökeres. Obviously, you've got Anthony Elanga supporting as well. So I think they're a really, really effective side and could score quite a lot of goals.
yeah, I completely agree with you. You've also got Yasin Ayari, who's had a big part to play in Brighton's season. So yeah, they have got a lot of quality across the squad, and I think that's why they could be the villains of the tournament. They are pretty direct from the back and their build up. They build from a sort of middle using box four. It says here the front three has a lot of freedom, and I think you would expect that with the quality of especially Benjamin Nigren. No, I'm only joking. Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak, and of course Anthony Alanga as well, who's very difficult to defend against at times, especially with his speed and his directness. So yeah, they've got a lot of different tools in this squad that Graham Potter can use, and he's not the most experienced in that role at Sweden, but he's got them through to the tournament, and I think a lot of the Swedish fans will have faith in him to do them well in the tournament when it comes, and I think. For Sweden, I think the expectation will be to at least make the knockout rounds. I know it's a difficult group, it's competitive, but especially with third place having a chance to go through, they'll always be in the running for that. But obviously, we'll give our predictions at the end. And be ready to go on to another very strong team in this group.
Yeah, yeah, they're right. I've done a predicted lineup for them as well. So, oh, this could be a bit dodgy.
Oh,
But yeah, I'll go for that.
yeah, okay. 18th ranked in the world, Japan, the highest ranked side in Asia. They obviously have been for some time now, and have been absolutely excellent recently. In qualifying, they were
They've won their last 6 friendlies and kept 5 clean sheets in that time as well.
yeah, they're looking really, really good. Obviously, we've seen them against Scotland, and they were okay. I think you couldn't take much from that game, but they won nonetheless. And obviously, they topped a pretty decent qualifying group containing Australia and Saudi Arabia, only losing one game, and I think that was against the Aussies towards the end of qualifying when they had already sort of wrapped up their place in the tournament. And yeah, some really impressive wins on that run that you spoke about, including wins over England and Brazil. So I think that they're looking really good.
And
Japan,
Scotland.
yeah, and Scotland, if you want to call that a really impressive win. And obviously under the coaching, as I found out that it wasn't Shinsuke Nakamura. I was swindled. But he is part of the coaching staff. It's Hajime Moriyasu, the 57-year-old, who's now had 102 matches in charge and won 71 of them, which is very respectable. I think he came in charged just after the 2018 World Cup, and obviously they done pretty decently at the 2022 World Cup, if I remember correctly. Although I don't know if they got out of the group that had contained Spain and Germany. Imagine that group now: Spain, Germany, and Japan would be an absolutely crazy group.
Was it 2022 they beat Germany?
What the one where the ball was like the controversial ball in or out one? I think that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. But no, they're a really strong side. And they've got a lot of good individuals, but I just think they work so well as a team, Japan. Um,
Oh no, Japan have got out of that group. Of course, they topped that group with Spain and Germany. It was Germany that never got out of the group.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I was a bit confused there.
yeah.
Um, no, they've been really really good. Do you want to hear my predicted lineup for Japan?
Yes, on you go.
So it's a 3-4-2-1. It looks like they'll deploy. Um, so I've gone for Suzuki and goals, a back three of Tomiyasu, Itakura, and Hiroki Ito. Um, or it might not be the right Ito. I always get them mixed up. So
No,
might
that's the right one, the Bayern Munich one.
yeah, his first name's
Hiroki,
Hiroki. Yeah,
Hiroki, yeah.
sorry. So then wing backs or midfield right wingers, I've gone for Sugawara on the right hand side. I've gone for Nakamura on the left. A midfield two of Wataru Endo and Tanaka. And then front three, I've gone for Kubo, Arito, and leading the line, Daisen Maeda. I've gone for, which could be up for debate as Ueda has scored. Well, no, sorry, he's contributed to 27 goals and assists for Feyenoord this campaign. So I think he could definitely be in with a shout. But I just think, obviously, Maeda's pedigree in the national team. He's had a terrific end to the campaign for Celtic. I think he's in prime position to take that starting spot through the centre.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be really interesting to see who Moriyasu goes for through the middle and across the front line in particular, because they've got so many options that can play uh, across the front line, and you would consider play in that attack in front three. That's Sudoan, Daichi Kamada as well, obviously off the back of the
Yeah,
Conference League.
forgot about Kamada. Well,
Yeah,
they're so
um,
stacked, aren't they?
yeah. They've got Kubo, they've got Goto, who's on loan at St Truden this season from Anderlecht to help St Truden to a really good finish in the Belgian league, if memory serves correct. So yeah, they've got some, and then they've got the other Rito, the one that you were um, doubting yourself on getting confused, Hiroki with Junior, who's been a mainstay in the national team for quite a while now, since 2017, with 69 caps and 15 goals. But yeah, they're just a really well organised team, Japan, and they have been for some time now. To top that group back in 2022, containing Spain and Germany, was very impressive. Just unfortunately, they went out to the serial over performers in tournaments, Croatia, and the knockout rounds. But I think for Japan to have never made it past the last 16 stage, I believe. I'll need to double check that. Is a bit of a disservice to how good they've been recently, and I think they definitely have potential to go really far in this tournament and sort of emulate what South Korea done in 2002 by reaching the semi-finals, because I think they are really that good a side. And they seem to have a lot of belief in their manager. And yeah, we'll give our predictions for this group, but I think this is another one. And we sound like a broken record at this point if you've watched our previous episodes, but another really tight group that seems tough to call.
Yeah, no, definitely as a super tight group. That is really tough to call. And but I think I favour Japan to make it out of this group fairly confidently. I'm not going to say easy because I don't think it will be easy, but I've got them in a good position, I'll say.
Yeah, and they made the round of 16 in the last two World Cups, so they are used to getting there. Obviously, regulars of the World Cup now, they've qualified in every one since '98. Some of them they didn't make out of the group on three occasions, and three equations they made it to the round of 16. So I think they really want to, no, four times they made it to the round of 16, sorry. They want to really establish themselves as a nation, like their performances in qualifying and their recent friendlies probably merit to be a nation that you can consider going to the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of tournaments. And of course, they want to have the bragging rights over South Korea as well. That South Korea have the bragging rights of being the only Asian team to make the semi-finals, and I think Japan will want to replicate that, and I think they certainly have the talents to do so. And I think that might be all we've got for Japan before we move on to the final nation of this group, Alex.
Yeah, let's go to Tunisia. Tunisia,
Yes.
another. This is a very Celtic heavy episode. Another Celtic player making his way into the World Cup, Sebastian Taneke with the Tunisians. They've obviously got some good players in there as well. Shkiri of Eintracht Frankfurt, a really solid defensive midfielder. Um, Khedira of Union Berlin. I think he's brothers with Sammy, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Uh, yes, he has. He has. Yeah.
So you've got Khedira, you've got Ben Slimani of Norwich City, Hannibal of Burnley. Um, so you've got some good attacking sort of players in there as well, playing in good leagues. Garby, obviously at Augsburg, Sad at Hanover 96. Quite a lot of these guys are playing Germany. Some in France as well. Abdi of OGC Nice. So maybe obviously Talby of Lorient as well. So um, I think on the face of it, they're a better side than I anticipated them to be, because you don't like think of Tunisians like off the top of your head, do you? But they've got some talent in there. I think they're definitely in a difficult group. They're definitely better in a better position to make an impact than your likes of Curacao and Qatar, who we've spoken about previously. So yeah, I think that they are stronger, although on the face of it, probably the weakest side in this group. But I don't think they'll be coming away with 0 points, as compared to like we've said for Qatar and Curacao.
Yeah, yeah, quite possibly. And I think they've made it to six World Cups previously, playing 18 group stage games, but they've only won three of them, and they've never made it out of a group stage. So that'll obviously be the aspiration for them in this tournament to make that knockout stage for the first time under the management of 54-year-old Frenchman Sabri Lamouchi, who's only been in charge for since January and managed three games. So not a lot of experience there in terms of this role. But they say the same about Graham Potter. He's obviously brought a fresh ideas and something different to the players, which they've adapted to and welcomed. And that may be the same for Tunisia. The friendlies have been a little bit of a mixed bag since their African Cup of Nations exit in the first round of the knockouts, where they lost to Mali on penalties. They beat Haiti 1-0. They drew nothing each with Canada and then lost 1-0 to Austria. So all three World Cup sides, and they will face Belgium in their final friendly before the tournament begins. And as you said, there is a few talented players throughout that squad, which you recognise the names, but I think of course not as high profile squads as the other three sides, and certainly you would say the underdogs in this group. But this is what the World Cup always sort of provides, those underdog stories of teams that are capable, and this is the difference. This isn't the same as a Curacao and a Qatar like we've spoke about in previous episodes, where we almost completely write them off with no chance of getting out of this group. I think Tunisia have a chance. They just need to play really well and upset the odds. Are they able to do that? I'm not sure. This is I think recently they've been on sort of their lowest FIFA rankings that they have been in a while. But obviously that doesn't matter too much. But yeah, I think they are certainly four favourites to get out of this group. It will be an uphill battle for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They are fourth favourites to get out of this group. Um, um, just the quality of the other sides. It's just unfortunate. I mean, I think if you'd landed them in a different group, like if you'd put them in maybe um Group J, if they were in there instead of Algeria, I think they would be better placed to take points off of Austria, obviously Jordan as well. Obviously Argentina probably going to top that group, but I feel like if you dropped them in another group, they probably could have made a better showing of it with this. This is one of the strongest groups in the competition, unfortunately, for Tunisia, which is why I have them finishing bottom.
Yeah, and I unfortunately will have to agree for Sebastian Tenecki's sake. I just think it's going to be too difficult for them, and credit to them for getting to the tournament. That Africa's always a difficult region to qualify out of, as we've seen with Nigeria um, this time around. But I just don't think they have the same consistent quality across the team. The manager's obviously quite new to the setup, and I just don't think that they'll have enough. But I think they will make it difficult for every team that plays against them. I don't think they're going to be a walkover by any means, but I just don't know in these groups whether they'll have enough. But I said earlier, this is not a complete write off. If they were to get out of the group, I'd be surprised, but it's not the craziest thing to ever happen in a World Cup tournament by any means.
No, definitely not. It wouldn't be the craziest thing to happen.
Yeah,
But the but like I said, I think they'll finish bottom. Do I give the prediction now then?
yeah, we may as well. We've started. I think we've gave everything we can do in this group. And well, do you want to give your third place team first, and then I'll give mine?
This is really tough. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Sweden. I'm just gonna go with my gut. I know you're going a bit crazy on this one, Ethan. But I'm just
Yeah,
gonna go Sweden.
yeah. Well, I am going to go in third place. I think they may still qualify for the next stage of the competition through the best third place teams, but I think Ronald Koeman's Netherlands will finish third. I think I don't know. I don't know. I think Japan will look really really strong, the strongest looking team in this group, and I think there's going to be a weird thing with Sweden. They've got two excellent players up front in attacking areas, which Netherlands just don't have. And yeah, I think Sweden will do enough to get second, and Japan will claim top spot with Netherlands slumping to third and possibly an early exit from the tournament.
Yeah, that's a big shout. Big shout. So, but I'll go Sweden third. I'll agree. I'll go Japan top and Netherlands in second, but I don't think they'll. I think they've got enough quality to finish second in this group.
Yeah, they may well do, but you've got to throw in a few bold predictions because it never goes the way you think it'll go in World Cups. But I think as we've found, it feels especially difficult to call some of these groups this year, and hopefully that'll make it an excellent spectacle when the tournament does come around, as we're growing ever closer to it beginning. So I think that's all we've got from Group F, and that is going to be the end of this episode. So thank you very much for tuning in again. If you haven't checked out any of the previous episodes, us previewing the other groups, then please do go and check them out. There will be more coming for the rest of the groups. There'll be daily uploads. Thank you very much for the support on the TikTok as of late. Alex has obviously started uploading daily on there again, so please go and check that out. Go and check us out on the Twitter. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to listen on the Spotify, this series will be uploaded on there. And likewise, if you're listening on the Spotify, then you can check us out on the YouTube channel. Thanks again for listening, and goodbye.